I mean, I hit the target.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bullseye channel. I hope you're doing well. Today is a monumental day in the history and life of the channel because we are going to celebrate 20,000 rounds through the Chambers Custom Working Man's Gun. Let's go ahead and verify safe for you. Pistol is clear. And hammer is down. All right. In this video, we're going to go through a few things. We're going to talk about 20,000 rounds. I'm going to give you a visual tour of it, see how it's holding up. The history of it, and I'm going to tell you kind of like what my best target was with it, what's my best memory of it, the reliability, the cost, should you get one if you're in the market, and then where do we go from here? I mean, obviously we go through 20,000, we go beyond 20,000 rounds, but what kind of shooting are we going to do with it? So let's start and let's talk about getting to 20,000 rounds. So when did this reach 20,000 rounds? Well, down at West Jefferson. I was actually shooting a match. I was shooting, helping a bunch of shooters shoot through the revised or sort of like improved Marine Corps pistol qualification that I recommended, and I shot some bowling pins with this, and then I shot this on the improved qual. Didn't do that great because all my shots at 25 yards were in a nice little clump right above the hitbox. So probably would have done their job, but you know, that it is what it is. I picked up this gun in late 2018, and so really have had 6 years shooting through it, and so that comes out to about 3,333 rounds annually through this, and that's with some mobilizations and deployments. So this thing has been my main squeeze since picking it up. I picked it up off. I didn't plan on getting a Chambers Custom. I didn't know who Joe Chambers was, and I was just really jonesing for a certain kind of classic Jason Burton gun, and this one had enough of when I got it that it was like right there, and I had no idea what I was getting when I ordered it, and so I ordered it and it was shipped out to me from Joe, and I could not believe how tight it was. The classic Chambers Custom unboxing where it like comes to you and it's in its blue bag and there's all the mustard stickers and it's like wrapped in this like cling wrap and just like dripping with oil. Yeah, so let's go ahead. So I got through 20,000 rounds, and that's pretty great. So let's do the visual tour. It's probably what you want to see and what you're most interested in. Classic 1911 sort of look. Has some of the Chambers touches. You'll notice it has a little bordering here, which is nice, and that nice sort of like scratched finish on top. See if I can get the camera to pick it up. There you go. The front sight is a gold inline front sight, which I have smashed against the wall of my safe. That makes it real fun to shoot at Camp Perry. Not any sort of flush cut business in the front. Standard treatment up here. In the rear, nice, beautiful forward swept cocking serrations. Low mount shrouded Bomar, and the Bomar is sort of like triangulated right there. It makes a very attractive sight picture. Nice hammer, beautiful sort of grip safety here. It originally came with a flat mainspring housing, and I don't like flat mainspring housings because I got long paws. And so I went ahead and had Joe put on an arched for me. And then I added grip tape. It has sort of that scratch treatment, which is nice for casual shooting, but for bullseye, it's absolutely not good. Here you got a medium trigger, and it's got some bite marks on it. Let me see if I flip it over. It's got some bite marks on it right there where I try to trigger shoe, and that doesn't work. You got this tape. Some people ask what this tape is. This means that the trigger was weighed at Camp Perry, and it meets the 4-pound requirement. Coming over here on the other side, we've got a protruding slide stop, which I prefer. I don't like the sort of flush ones. The thing that you'll notice here is that this thing is, you can't hardly see it, but this is a dovetailed sight. And so you got it real close to see the dovetail, and that's just really beautiful. I like his slide stop. It's very, very good for me in terms of its placement and its size. It's easy to manipulate, but not scratchy. The thumb safety is just big enough. I don't rest my finger on the thumb safety, and yeah, you got the marks on the Bomar for different positions. Really great. I had these ball cuts put on here after the fact, so I did send it off to Joe Chambers, and it has been wonderful. Trigger set at 4 pounds. Very nice, short roll. We took this out on 50-yard test, and at least on my 50-yard test, and I'm sure it could do a little bit better. It was like 3 inches, right? So it's a 10-ring kind of gun after 20,000 rounds. Let's show you the barrel. Yeah, you can kind of see it's wearing through. The only repair that I needed to have done to this that I can recall was looks like I got a little wear here from things catching. I broke the extractor at around 17 or 18,000 rounds and had to send it out to have a new one put in there. Up until that point, I'd only had 4 malfunctions out of like 18,000 rounds, and so it's been incredibly reliable. The majority of ammo that has been going through this was Atlanta Arms 185 grain jacketed hollow point, but there's a decent mix of some TZZ with that sort of like funky shape, Federal Gold Medal match, some really, really old surplus ammo, and then some standard 230 grain ball, but its primary ammo has been the sort of like Atlanta Arms 185 grain jacketed hollow point or some sort of facsimile or something similar. The bluing on this is nice, but it does live with just a surface level of rust, and I kind of like that about it, right? You always got to give it a little love with some CLP, wipe it down, but it kind of gets this like nice patina when you're shooting it. I tend to rub right here with my finger, and then obviously, you can probably pick up the hue of some surface rust right there. I might have actually taken it off with my hand already. You can kind of see it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to put this down, load that trigger, and then we'll walk through a couple of other things. So going back to its history, it's just been a tremendous pistol, right? Like it has, over time, I have owned an Armand Swenson, a Jason Burton, a Volkmann. I've owned a lot of nice custom 1911s, and for whatever reason, this one caught me right at the right moment. It introduced me to the world of custom 1911s and has really not let me down in any sense. And there isn't one that I've liked, seen, or felt, or shot that I've liked better than the Chambers Custom. And I think that speaks to the level and quality of the guns that are built out of his shop. But then also it just like kind of caught me at the right moment. And so now I've got a really strong personal attachment to it. The best target that I've ever shot, I believe, was a 97.4 at the long line. I'd have to verify that, but it was high 90s, and that was at Camp Perry. And that was a moment where I had just come off shooting an 82, which is pretty bad for me during the P100. And this came back, settled into my process, and posted one of the best scores that I've ever shot. Really, really nice score. And I was really proud of that. I would say the best memory that I have shooting it thus far is 100% shooting anytime I've been shooting with a team, and that's the Marine Corps Reserve team or this last season with ORPA. I just love shooting this gun in Camp Perry during team matches. It's just so incredibly enjoyable. Already mentioned its reliability, so I'm not going to do that. It's been incredibly reliable. People who say that 1911s aren't reliable just don't have good 1911s. I would have loved to have benched it and wished that I benched it when it was fresh. At some point, I'll have a new barrel put on it, and then I'll bench it. Ooh, real quick, let's check the slide to frame fit after 20,000 rounds. Little left to right, no up to down. So little left to right, no up to down. Still very tight and very smooth cycling. All right, let's talk a little bit about cost. That's usually a big hang up. So when I purchased this back in 2018, it was the most that I ever spent on a handgun. It was over 5,000 William McMillans. It was just a lot of money. I had to sell a bunch of stuff to get rid of it, to make it work, and I had to save money after the fact, right, to kind of catch up. It was just a lot, and it was a hard pill for me to swallow. Looking back on it, is it worth it? I think a high end, I mean, one, if you're an enthusiast, the value proposition really isn't, comes into play less. In terms of practicality, it depends on how much you're going to shoot it and what you need out of it. I was going to shoot it for bullseye, so I needed something that was like bank vault tight and very, very accurate. And I intended on shooting it a lot. So if you do the math and you assume 60 to 65% or 60 to 65 cents a round on 20,000 rounds, I mean, that comes out to around, $12,000 to $13,000 in ammunition over the cost of 5 years, which isn't, I mean, $5,000 is still a very large share of that, but you've spent nearly $20,000 in ammo and in for the firearm, to say nothing of the travel that's associated with shooting. The gun tends not to be that big of a cost, and so yeah, let's say you got a Springfield Range Officer 45 and had a nice barrel put into it. What are you going to save out of the $20,000 that you're going to spend? Maybe you saved $3,000. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? But it's not unfathomable that someone would spend a lot of money on a nice gun, on a nice custom gun. And in the world of custom guns now, especially now that the world has transitioned to 2011s and Infinities and like all that stuff, I mean, I choke when I see the cost of Joe Chambers, Chambers custom guns, Infinities, Jason Burton customs. Like, my heart sinks because I know I have owned them and sold them and will never own them again because they're just so expensive. I'm happy I got this one when I did. So should you go out and get one, I mean, the world of customs has opened up, and if you're interested in a 1911, I would say, yeah, it's a great place to look if you're willing to kind of like go through the weight and then get it and put it in there. They tend to pop up every once in a while on his Patreon, as well as on like some of the 1911 forums that are out there. And so, yeah, I think, if you're able to snag one, right, maybe a little bit more than I paid for one, and you tend to shoot it a lot, I would say, yeah, absolutely. But there are also a lot of really nice other makers on there. I have never shot a gun that has been fit this well, and it really does make a difference in how I feel and how it shoots. 45 ACP, even 230 grain, properly sprung, this thing is very light shooting and very fast cycling and incredibly reliable. And so, I think if you're interested in something like this, then in that sort of like level of 1911, and you're truly going to shoot it, yeah, it's subjective, but yeah, go ahead and check it out. And then where am I going to go from now with this thing? Well, this thing has probably seen its last Camp Perry as the number one pistol, and the reason is not because it's not awesome, because it is, but because here in due time I'm going to have a Mike Curtis build come due, and I'm very excited to give that a try. This will always be there waiting for me, and definitely if you're out there and you need a 45 to use, you can use my 45, and maybe you can shoot this on the line. I'll even give you the ammo if you don't have the ammo. That being said, I am going to move this into my single stack USPSA gun, because I occasionally shoot a USPSA match, and I'm sick of shooting it with polymer guns, and I want to shoot it with, something like that. And so this will probably get some sort of, magwell. Let me know what magwell you think would be good. Maybe a Stan Chen, or maybe the Techwell one that does this. As you can see, I took some old grips and I silicon carbided them. So this thing is like grippy. I actually carried this the other day, and like it was like hurting my skin, as you can imagine, but it is like fantastic. Look at that. It's also very pretty. So that's where it's going to go from now. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have a Chambers custom, and what you think about it. Or maybe you let me know if you think that something like this is worth it. And Joe, if you're watching this, really appreciate the gun. Also, obviously appreciate your friendship over the years. Loving the Patreon. You can check him out at Patreon 1911 University. He does reviews and Q&As. And if you're interested in everything that makes a 1911 tick, he's there to answer your questions. Hold hard, shoot straight. Oh, I'm going to leave you with the 3 rules for life. Rule 1, don't be a jerk. Rule 2, take care of yourself. Rule 3, help other people. And as always, know you don't know what's going on in somebody else's mind. They don't know what's going on in your mind, so be kind and courteous when dealing with other people. Hold hard, shoot straight.
I mean, I hit the
Probably off
target.